Before we wrap up today, I did want to hit you with one more nutrition question that somebody submitted beforehand, which
Okay.
was, do you have any general advice or strategies for somebody who struggles with mindless eating, just kind of
Mm,
grazing on stuff without really thinking about it? What advice would you have there?
great question. And an incredibly one, whoever that was, thank you so much for submitting that question. I appreciate it a lot. This is unbelievably common. That like I think that's the most important things. I think people feel like when they are mindless eating, it's like, oh, why am I doing this again? Like I'm such a, and I think it's let's establish the fact that a lot of these like snacky foods, Oreos, Doritos, things like that, like they are literally designed for you to mindlessly eat them, right? Like there's actual food engineers that go in something called the bliss point where they're creating the perfectly curated combination of fat, salt, and sugar that makes you eat it, not get full and want more of it, right? So like I think part of it is understand it's not like you're not just a failure who like can't control it. You're fighting against kind of a system that's designed to do that, right? And so there's a few pieces of this. I think number like there's like a tactical side and then there's more of the mental side. And I think both are important to address. So like from a tactical perspective, number one, are you actually hungry? Right? Like are you number one, are you barely eating calories throughout the day because you're like, oh, I'm trying to be on a diet, you're living in a diet mindset, whatever. And then you get to the end of the day and like you really are under your calorie goal, right? And so like you're just filling that the rest of it with like chips and candy or whatever because you're genuinely hungry. Couple that with are you getting enough protein, enough fiber, enough veggies? Because those things are tremendous at helping you stay full, right? So like I always start there of like let's look at the low hanging fruit. Are you under eating throughout the day? And are you under eating those specifically, the veggies, the fiber, the protein? Because if you are, like the amount of times that someone comes in, they're like, I have a sweet tooth or I mindlessly eat, whatever. And we just add more protein, we just add more fiber. And they're like, wow, yeah, like I still kind of want sweets, but it's the noise is down so much, right? Like that's step one. Now, that being said, I think we also need to address why do people mindlessly eat? Right. And so the hunger could be a real thing. But the other question is like, well, what if I'm not hungry? Right. Like, what if I'm full after dinner and for some reason I'm still gravitating towards the chips at the same time? I'm still, diving into the candy bag. And so that's the place where we need to really address what are we using food for? Right. How do we create a little bit of separation? Because a lot of this times, it is because we hate the feeling of discomfort from whatever negative emotion we're trying to avoid, right? Whether that is boredom, whether that's stress, depression, right? Like fear, anxiety. We've been trained as a society that happiness is the only acceptable emotion, right? And so when we feel anything else, it's not comfortable. And so all of us to some degree develop coping mechanisms to distract ourselves from feeling those emotions. For some people, it's food. For some people, it's alcohol. For some people, it's drugs. For some people, it's work, right? For some people, it's workouts, right? Like we all find ways to try to drown out that noise of why are you feeling anxious? Why are you feeling bored right now? Like your life is good. So why are you feeling like this, right? Um, And food just happens to be the one that, unfortunately, if that habit continues for a very long time, you can physically see it, right? And so we feel incredible shame over it. We don't see the person who's struggling with alcohol behind the scenes, right? Or the guy who's got a cocaine addiction that, like we don't see a lot of that stuff. And so I think like normalizing the idea that we all feel negative emotions. We all probably to some degree try to avoid them, right? So let's address that real human instinct of creating some separation and creating some awareness around what is actually going on when I'm reaching for the food, right? So I like to have some kind of practice where if you're reaching into the pantry every night, put a sticky note on there, right? That just draws awareness to say something like, number one, what am I doing? Right? Like the simplest question, what am I doing right now? Oh, I'm reaching for food. I'm reaching for the pantry. Number two, what am I feeling? Right? Like what emotions, what thoughts are coming up in my head? And like really spend a couple minutes there. What's this one, that piece I learned from listening to Jared Hamilton, who's like an incredible from, dieting inside out, I think is his whole thing. But like
Yeah, yeah.
that idea of like really like what thoughts, what emotions are coming up, because that will tell you so much of what am I trying to block out right now. Right. And then lastly, what else could I be doing? Right. Like maybe I should go for a walk instead. Right. Maybe I should go fold that laundry that I've been avoiding for the last 3 hours. Right. Maybe I actually want a cookie and that's okay. Right. But like just stopping and asking the question is super, super important to break that just autopilot habit that just constantly keeps happening every night. Right. Um, because especially too, the last piece is maybe it's just a habit that you've built over time, right? Every night after dinner, around 7:30, I make a cup of tea and I have 2 graham crackers. I put a little bit of just a little smear of peanut butter, a little smear of jelly, and a little piece of dark chocolate on them. And I have it every night. It fits into my goals, it fits into my calories. It's not something that I'm like, why am I doing that? But I can tell you that at 7:30 every night, what goes into my head, right? Oh, it's graham cracker time, right? Because it's a habit. It's something that I've established that I do. Our brain gets used to doing the same things over and over. And so part of it is like, all right, it's not hunger. I definitely know that. I don't think it's really even emotionally driven, right? Maybe it's just something I'm just used to doing every single night. And so
Sure.
that's the last piece is like, how do I take a break from this to try to let my brain kind of reset and reestablish? And maybe that means I'm not going to have those foods in my house for a couple of weeks, right? Because and it's definitely means I'm not going to have them on my kitchen counter, right? Because number one, we eat whatever we see. So when you have it, the closer it is in proximity, the more likely you are to eat it. So if it's next to you on the kitchen, if it's next to you on the nightstand, you are very likely to eat it. If it's on the kitchen counter, you're still pretty likely to eat it. If it's in a pantry, you're less likely, but you know where it is, right? If it's at the grocery store, you're probably not going to go get it. So can you give yourself just like a 2 week kind of reset break to even understand if you even like whatever it was that you were eating that much, right?
Yeah.
And can you replace that habit with something else? Something else that maybe is more fulfilling, more beneficial for your goal specifically. So it's a long-winded answer because I don't think it's a simple one for many people, but usually within one of those 3 buckets, right? Number one, is it actually a lack of nutrient dense foods? So you truly are feeling hungry. Number two, are you trying to avoid some kind of discomfort, negative emotion that you need to address? And number three, is it just a habit and we need to find a different one to replace it?
I think